Hey everyone, this is Ken, and today we're going to be doing a tutorial, guys, on a brand new Mega Potion Station V3 with tons of upgrades. So stay tuned and check it out. Now, if you haven't already, guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button and to give this video a like, because it makes a huge difference for the channel. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you get the latest updates whenever I post. Now, enough of that, let's jump right into it, guys. What we have here is a new revamp of the Mega Potion Station. I'm going to explain a few things that we have going on here. We have an awesome selector panel here. And the cool thing here, we have all the potions kind of listed out right in front of us. So as I kind of labeled it, I put dangerous potions on this section, these four. And the great thing is you could choose anywhere between whichever you want to pick, and it'll go back and forth until you kind of make your final decision, which is awesome. Now on the side right next to it, we have safe potions like leaping, night vision, breathing, swiftness, strength, fire resistance, regeneration, and healing. And I kind of categorize this as all being, safe potions. Now, just like the dangerous ones, you could select any one of these and go back and forth as you choose, because you really haven't finalized the actual process yet. And we do have a manual reset button right here on the left. And when you press that, it kind of clears out the entire panel, which is awesome. Now, to really add to your potions, you always want to add some add-ons, right? So I put these as add-ons to potions, which is a great, nice, a little catchy. Now we have Redstone Dust, which increases duration, some strength, Splash Potion, and of course Lingering Potion. But keep in mind, you need to add Splash Potion, then Lingering Potion to create that. And the great thing is, it has its own separate panel, because like I said, these are add-ons. So if you want to select more than one, you could. If you don't want to pick those, just hit that reset button. It'll clear the whole panel out right there. And that's it. It's really simple and kind of self-sufficient. Now, once you make your finalization, everything you want to pick, right? You hit this button to really start the whole process. Okay? And the great thing is, the entire system will stay on lock mode until the potion is done. Now, all the magic happens right here, guys. Now, over here, you have your blaze powder. As you can see, we have a little bit left. When you hit that button, guys, it shoots right in. You see, it's right there, nice and simple. And of course, you have your water bottles all right over here in this one section. And of course, your water source. And a light indication will go on if that's ever empty. And you have an extra storage here for just basic items and of course a crafting table. The great thing is, once the potion is done being made, it will automatically go into this large chest right in front of you with no headaches. Now let me show you this in full action now that I kind of explained it all. And we're going to pick one of these potions. So you know what? I'm in the mood for some swiftness. So let's go something fast. And we're going to increase duration. And you know what? We're going to make this into a lingering potion. So we have all our ingredients set up to make this happen. Now the second you hit that, guys, the entire system gets on lock mode. And it begins right away, you see? So you got your ingredients right there. And if you look in that hopper, you can see that everything is lined up perfectly in perfect sequence. So you're never going to have that problem where one is going to come off the wrong way. All the ingredients will line up perfectly the way it's supposed to. Now, check this out. Once it's already done, you're going to see that once it's finished brewing, it's going to release the potions. And everything will go right into that chest right below, like I said it would. Perfect, you see? Now, when you want to fill things up, guys, and restock your, ingredients, just dump all your ingredients into this chest. It will get self-organized. And not to worry, guys, if you put something that's not in there, it's going to bypass everything and it won't even cause any headaches. Now, as you can see, guys, we have a lot of stuff going here. We have a nice coding system in the back as far as the redstone. And at this point, guys, we have an awesome storage system right in the back here as well to sweat out all your ingredients. And if you put something that doesn't belong in there, it's going to go right into that chest with no headaches and no worries. Perfect. Now, enough talking about that. Let's get right into it. Now, pause the video. Make sure you have these dimensions before you set it up. Now, I just added a line in the center on both sides to kind of give this some symmetry and make it a little easier on the eyes as you're building this. Fantastic. Now, this is going to be the front side, guys. Now, you're going to go about one block right there on both sides and the redstone dust on the side with a repeater going forward. Then we're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 blocks right across. Now, once you've done that, guys, you're going to go about one block inwards, place a dropper right there, and add 1, 2, 3, about 8 droppers right across. Leave a 1 block space and add 4 more like so. Then over here, you're going to kind of invert the same exact image so that they're both facing each other. So you're going to have 2 droppers facing each other. Now, in the first row of droppers, guys, right inside, you're going to add 1 piece of dirt. So I'm going to make this very clear. Just this first row, you're going to add 1 piece of dirt, or whatever you want to put in there. And in front of it, you're going to add 1 comparator to pick up the signal. Perfect. So you should have this kind of look. Now, right over here, guys, you're going to add 2 repeaters and a block right behind it. Now, we're just going to mark this out. You don't have to do this. I'm going to put about 4 blocks here just to mark it out. And you're going to place droppers facing upwards. Then on the first one, guys, you're going to place 2 blocks like so. Delete the first one and add a straight row temporarily. Then you're going to delete these blocks so you can have these droppers going downwards. Now, once again, both of these droppers are facing each other. So keep that in mind. So let's put back these blocks and a block on top of it like so. And inside of each dropper on the top end, guys, you're going to add 1 piece of dirt. See? And this one as well. Perfect. Now add your repeaters right behind it. And a repeater going forward with some redstone dust right across. Now you're going to add another row right on top. And repeaters right on top of that block as well. Then you're going to add a straight row of comparators so that it can pick the signal from the bottom one. See how everything's kind of lined up with the one next to it? Now right on top of here, you're going to add a row of blocks and extend that like so. Delete that. And on top of it, going forward, you're going to place a repeater on top of each block. Fantastic. And in front of each repeater, guys, you're going to make sure you add a block right across. Just to these. Do not do it to the last 4 at the end. Leave it just like so. Now, in a back and forth pattern, guys, you're going to leave a space in between, and you're going to add a combination of rail activators and power rails. Now, starting here, guys, you're going to add 2 pieces of redstone dust right across so you connect with that. And from this point, add that straight across. Not to worry, we're going to place a block in there later, and then we'll get into more details about that going forward. Now, add a row of blocks right over here, and extend this right across to the other side. Now, you're going to add an extension of 3 blocks from the repeater, and over here, you're going to add 2 pieces of redstone torch, and once again, another row of blocks extending from one end right across to the other. Then place a block there. Now we're going to place a redstone lamp right over here. Before we do that, we're going to place a redstone torch, a block, and another redstone torch on top, because once again, that's a reset button. then a block right there. Then you're gonna add 4 pieces of redstone, well, 4 redstone lamps, a block, then 8 redstone lamps right across, then another block, and then a total of 6 redstone lamps like so. And then 1 more block again, and of course add some blocks on the top, and that's going to be your framework to the entire front end. And of course, guys, we cannot forget about the buttons. So place a button there, and of course right across parallel to each redstone lamp. Now right over here, guys, you're gonna add 2 blocks and a redstone torch right on top of each one. Now we're gonna add some really cool stuff here. Now right over here, guys, you're also gonna add some observer blocks on top of each comparator. So 2 observer blocks like so, and repeat that across the board to each comparator like so, with a block right on top of each one. Then on top of each block, you're going to add a sticky piston right across, and a block right in front of it. Now guys, if you have to pause the video, just pause the video if you have to, because this will take time. Now right below the redstone lamp on that block, you're going to add a redstone torch, so that once a block goes on top of it, it actually lights up the actual lamp. Now, just a little quick update, guys. We're going to go right over here. We're going to place a block there, and right underneath that torch, add a button. And the reason we're adding that button is when we add the redstone dust on top of this block, it doesn't interfere with that dropper right there or this system alone. Then add a redstone torch there. Then right over here, you're going to add a redstone block, well, block there with a redstone dust on top. A repeater going forward. A block right in front of it, guys, and a repeater right there on 2 ticks with some redstone dust connecting with this section right over here. Now the reason we have that repeater there is because that's going to reset the entire system. Now starting over here, guys, add 2 pieces of redstone dust and extend that right across. Then you're going to add a repeater right there with some redstone dust behind it, and if you want to, guys, add a block right there just for extra measure. Now, like I said earlier, guys, place a block over here in the front so that you can cut right between this whole redstone dust, and there you have it. All right, this is a long video. Now we're gonna place some blocks right over here on the bottom part of those observer blocks, and on top of it, you're gonna add some repeaters. And that's going to give out the signal to the coding, which we're going to set up in a bit. Fantastic. You should have this kind of view. Now, for whatever system you're working on, if this doesn't update this and activates it, what I would suggest as a safety feature, add some rail activators and some power rails in between in this back and forth pattern, and you should be good to go. See? So when you activate it, you should get this kind of effect. And let's reset this. Voila. Now the coding, guys, is very important. I'm going to go step by step with you on this. Now we're going to use yellow. We're going to extend this all the way to the back, leaving a 2-block space. Perfect. Then you're going to place an observer block facing downwards, and we're going to go at an angle like so, and kind of just bring this about 3 additional more blocks. So place observer blocks in this section right over here to create this kind of angle setup. And of course, add some yellow blocks right across, connecting towards the back, well, towards the front. Now, if you haven't already, guys, in the beginning of this, I said I was facing the north-south direction. The reason that's so important, because it just makes it easier to set up the coding process of this whole thing, because we're going to be adding rails on the top right here, right across the board. Sorry for the back noise. We're driving motorcycles. Anyway, Now, the only reason you could do it the opposite direction is just that in the north-south direction on this top part makes it very easy to set up these rails. Trust me, because right underneath is very tight. And I'll show you later on why this kind of makes sense. Now, all you have to do, guys, is if you're facing opposite directions like north and south, make sure that these two rails are longer than the ones in the center. Because if you try to line them up together, they're going to naturally curve to the east and west. You see? To me, that's a huge headache. And it's very frustrating. So once again, just extend these blocks longer than what they should be so that when you place the blocks in the center, or the rails in the center, they don't curve at all. See, so you kind of have to leave that little space right there and place it right there and extend it forward until you're right on top of the observer block. And then any extra blocks, guys, just delete it. And right over here, once we got all that set up, delete this row of blocks in front of the repeater because we don't need those anymore. Now, you're going to have to go a total of 9 rails going forward. Okay, the reason for that because the signal only light up about 9 rails. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the 10th one, just delete those and add an observer block. Now, the reason I use rail activators is for that one purpose only. Plus, they're a lot easier to make compared to power rails. Now, let's jump to the second rail. Now, these are going to be the safety potions, guys. Make sure you add a block right in front of it and an observer block facing downwards. And once again, guys, we're going to go in that back and forth pattern, that kind of angle curve, starting right there. Add a block right there, then 2, then 3 blocks, then 4. And you pretty much get the gist. We're going to create this kind of angle pattern right across the board to each one. Perfect. Now, once you've done that, you're going to get your observer blocks again. Place one right there and one right between, like so. Once again, in this angle pattern. And there you have it. That's the coding for the safety potions. Well, the safe potions, I like to call them. Then you're going to place an rail activator right across, like so. And because this is kind of offset, it makes it so much easier. So starting there, place it right across. And all you have to do is delete that one. Place it right there temporarily. And repeat the pattern. So right across, bring that right there to that point. See? Delete that. Place it right there. And that's all you have to do. It really makes it so much easier as far as doing this. Now, because we're facing north and south, we have to do these little tricks so that we can get the rails exactly how we want them so that the system will work properly. And like I said, guys, I'm going to go step by step with you on this so you don't lose track or mess up at any point. Because this is a really big build. Then you're going to delete the excess amount of blocks that we have. Alright. Now, over here, guys, it's a little different. You're going to place one observer block, a row of blocks, then the observer block right going down with a block in between, and 2 more on the side. Now, this one, you got to extend this until you get parallel to this, then an additional 1, 2, 3, and 4. See? And of course, fill this entire gap up perfectly. Now, once you've done that, delete that block right there. And I believe it's about 2 block spacing, then delete that one right there, like so. And you're going to create this kind of pattern. This should be kind of, I believe it's 3 across and 2 on the top, one right there. And you should have this look. Hold on, check. No, we just got to fix this up a little bit. My apologies. Place the observer blocks going downwards right over here. Now, just to kind of further explain this a little better, we do have a observer block parallel with this one, 2 blocks, and then create this pattern, 3 and then 2. Now, once again, place a row of rails activators right across, leave a space, create this kind of actually a little longer. You see how both these 2 rails are pretty long. And in the middle, place it right there and extend that right to the other side till you get to that point. And then once again, place your rails there and bring it all the way up to the front. Now delete these rails and blocks right across. And starting from here, guys, you can delete all this excess amount. Now, once again, these rails, after 9 blocks, we have to line it up like we did on the other side to extend that signal. We pretty much got the majority of this whole thing done. Now, get your observer blocks, and starting from this point, we're going to delete these rails right over here and add an observer block in front of it. See how it lines up with that one? And there's 9 rails right across. So we got all the coding pretty much done. Thank God. Now, place a block there and extend this right across. And this is going to tell us what ingredients to activate. So parallel to this, add your rail activators right across. And this is going to be going east to west. And observer block right there. Now, in between the gaps, guys, you're going to place your observer block as well to extend the signal. Fantastic. And I'm going to go each one by one with you on this, so you make sure you get it all right. Now, starting from here, this is the front lines. Place a row block so you get to this first one right over here. Add a straight line of rails. And your observer block right there. And because I'm, very finicky, I like this rail to be going forward. We're going to place 2 more blocks right here. Add 2 rails. And when I say rails, I mean rail activators. And your observer blocks right there. And of course, we're going to be lining each section up with the last observer block, if that makes sense. So add that observer block right there with the rails in between. Now, starting from here, as you can see, we're just going to line this up one more time. Observer blocks, then your your rail activators, and your rail activators going forward. And the cool thing here, guys, this is the easiest way to make sure that the ingredients are activated correctly in perfect sequence. So you're going to be doing this kind of pattern quite often. And keep in mind, this is going east and west. And this is why I wanted to do it this way, because this part will be so much easier when setting it up. Now, once again, guys, if you're doing north and south in this bottom part, it's going to be difficult. But just like I said, have fun with the rails, understand the mechanics a little bit, as we explained earlier, and just work with it. And all we're doing is lining the blocks with the observer blocks on top, you see? So place that observer block there. And extend this forward to line up to that one so that it can activate it and pretty much send the signal going forward. So place your block here, add this long strip till you get to this last point, you see? And it's pretty much a repetitive pattern right across the board. Now, once again, guys, I will be putting my email in the description if you need further help. Trust me, I understand this could get a little confusing at times. But not to worry, that's what I'm here for. Now, because that's right there, you're going to add a rail there and extend it forward. Like I said, we're going to the farthest last observer block on this strip, see? Which is this one. And the great thing is, you don't have to worry about this. Add a little space. Add a block right there because that's the last one. Extend that right across with that space in between. Add your observer block right there. Your rail activators right across. And because this last one is, let's add that right there. And right there as well. Right between the blocks. Like I said, we got to make this all pretty much sync, and it's all about symmetry. I mean, it really makes a world of difference. And because this is the last one right there in that corner, well, right before the corner, we're going to add our observer blocks, then our rail activators, more observer blocks, and there we have it. Now we just have this little section right here in the front. See? This is the easy part. So we're just going to add a few more blocks. and just line up just this last bit with these observers, and there you have it, guys. The entire coding for the system is complete. See? I was lined up just right. And there you have it, guys. The entire coding part is complete, is done. We got that out the way. As you can see, everything just lines up perfectly. And the cool thing is, it's entirely silent. Now, you're going to add some additional row of observer blocks right here in the front. And you should have this kind of look. Now, we're going to go further on, guys, and start creating the rest of the system. So add a block right in front of it. Then you're going to add a dropper, like so, facing towards you on top of that block. And a comparator right behind it. And that comparator is going to let you know if there's items in the system, and if any of these ingredients are missing, it's going to lock down the entire system. I don't know if I mentioned that, but it's also a nice safety feature with this entire design to prevent you from, creating any potions halfway. Now you're going to have to add a redstone lamp on top of it with an observer block on top of that block. Because that's going to create the signal that we need. Then on top of those observers, add one block right on top of it, like so. Perfect. Now we're going to pause that for now. We're going to get right to these droppers, and you're going to add a hopper right on top of it. And in a back and forth pattern, add a chest, well, a large chest, and a trap chest on top of each hopper. Now, once you've done that, you're going to add a hopper going forward towards each chest. Now, what we're going to create here is the storage system for the ingredients themselves. Fantastic. Then you're going to add 1, 2, 3, another row of 3, and one right in the center, and delete the block on top of it to create this exact formation. So add a repeater going forward with a torch there, a comparator right there, and 3 pieces of redstone dust. Now pause the video and create that in front of each hopper like so, and we should have this kind of format. Now once you've done that, guys, continue the video and place a hopper going towards the comparator like so. Fantastic. So we have plenty of storage for the system without any worries. Now, right up back to this, we're going to add some sticky pistons on top of those green blocks. A row of blocks right underneath. Then you're going to add a half slab, 1, 2, delete the first one, and extend that half slab right across the board. Now, the reason we're using half slabs is because it won't interfere with those hoppers, because we will be putting some redstone dust on top of it quite shortly. Now, right over here, guys, add your redstone dust right across. And in this little gap, you're going to add your repeater going forward. And then continue the redstone dust right across. Then over here, in front of that block, you're going to add a redstone torch. And a block right on top of it. And that's going to activate the redstone dust. Now, that's not going to turn off until you fill up all the ingredients. Now, if you don't want that, it's more of an option. Now, place 2 blocks like so, and on the third one, leave it right there, creating this exact format. And a hopper line going straight towards that green block. We're about 1 block away from the droppers. Now, this is going to be kind of weird. You're going to be like, hey, man, why not just create the line parallel to the droppers? Now, you're going to place a hopper going towards the line itself. Leave that gap because we don't need it, and continue forward from the dropper. And the reason we do this, because if I did it the other way, for some odd reason, the items never reach the brewing stand in the correct format. It always comes out mixed match. But with this style, you're perfectly fine. Now place a block there with 3 droppers going on the side of it, like so. And this is going to be the item elevator. Now you're going to place 1, 2, 3 blocks, delete the first 2, place an observer block right there with a block in front of it. Then you're going to place a comparator on top of the observer block on subtract mode. Then place a block right there, 1 on front of it, and 3 on the side. Then you're going to place a redstone dust right there with a block on top of it. The redstone dust on top of that block, a block right there on the side with a repeater going forward, and a redstone dust right there. Then parallel to that redstone dust, make sure you have an observer block going forward, okay? So that it can pick up that signal. And trust me guys, it's going to be extremely fast. Now we just have to do one more thing, guys. You're going to delete these blocks and those 2 hoppers. Now the only difference here, you're going to place 1 hopper going, well 2 going towards the direction and 1 going towards that direction. See how everything's going in this kind of L shape right there? That's the only thing you have to do in the front. Now one more thing here, guys, right on the inside. You're going to delete that block right where the observer had, the first one we placed. Then a block right there with some redstone dust. And a block right over here to cut off that signal. And that item elevator is complete. Now we're going to start working on the front end here. This is going to be the spot where the actual brewing stand will be located. Now you're going to add 1, 2, and then 1, 2, leaving a space in between, a total of 5 blocks. Keep in mind I added 5 upside down stairs. And right in the center, you're going to add 1 large chest. And of course, 2 more blocks right there. That's going to be the flooring, you see? So 5 stairs and in the center. Now on top of that chest, you're going to add 1 hopper. Now we're going to add 2 blocks on both sides. You're going to add a piece of glass panel right there, or fence, or whatever you want to use that's similar to that. And over here, you're going to add 1 dropper with the brewing stand right in the center, and the hopper going towards it on the side, and 1 right on top of it. So you should have this kind of look. Now we're going to start working on the frame still. So we're not quite done yet. You're going to add 2 blocks right here, and you're going to bring this right up. And over here as well. Let's extend that upwards. Bring this about 2 blocks in height. Delete that. Fantastic. Then you can add your bucket of water right there. And a large chest on the side of it. Then add another row of 3 blocks right there parallel to that hopper. And a large chest right on top. And if you want to, guys, you can even add a redstone lamp over here on the side with a comparator right there to pick up the signal from the chest. With a block there, delete that, and add a redstone torch on the side of it. So once that chest gets filled, the light turns off and you know you're good to go. And on top of here, guys, add a straight line of slabs and blocks on top of it. And if you want to, guys, add a crafting table right there. Now to set this front part up, it's quite simple. Over here in that dropper is going to be your blaze powder. So make sure you have some right inside. And all you have to do to activate is place a button right there. As you can see, there's nothing inside. When you press it, you got 1 ready. You press it again, you clearly know it's working. And we're using a dropper, so keep that in mind. Now over here, that's where your water bottles are going to be at. So make sure you fill that up before you even start going further, or you can do it later. Just before you use it, make sure you fill that up. All right, now we're going to start working on the mechanics as far as when things get to this point. Now you're going to place a block right there. That's going to pick up the signal from that hopper. So place a comparator right there. And a row of blocks like so. And 2. And you're going to create this kind of format. So place a block in front of it with a repeater going forward. 2 pieces of redstone dust. Then a comparator going towards that block. And a comparator going the opposite direction next to it with some redstone dust. And right over here, add a redstone torch. And you're going to go right underneath and place 2 hoppers, one there and there, facing each other. And right where that torch is at, in that first hopper, place 45 pieces of dirt. Or any item, as long as it's 45. Now right over here, guys, see where that hopper is going towards the chest? We're going to place a block there. And we're going to place a block underneath and extend this to wrap around. See? So place 1 repeater going forward, a block there, and a comparator going towards that block. And delete that block. Hold on, let me just delete that repeater. And make sure it's a comparator. Fantastic. That's going to lock that hopper once the system gets activated, so that once everything starts brewing, you'll be alright. Now you're going to place a hopper there, then 2 hoppers on the side, and you're going to connect it towards that dropper item elevator that we just created. Perfect. Now we got that set up. We're going to place the redstone dust there with a block there, a repeater going forward. And over here, guys, you're going to place a few blocks because you're going to have 2 droppers facing each other like so. So one going this way and one going towards it on this side. Delete that. And in that first dropper, you're going to place an item right there on the left hand side. The comparator right there with a block in front of it. And a redstone torch on top of it. Then right over here, guys, you're going to place 2 hoppers facing each other. Now this is going to act as a buffer when you press the button. Now over here, guys, you're going to place a block, about 30 items in that first hopper right there, parallel to that torch. Then place a block there and one right underneath with a comparator going forward. Then you're going to place an observer block on the side of it. And a sticky piston right in front of that. Now the cool thing here, guys, you're going to place an observer block going sideways. So place a block there and place an observer block so that the face part is right there and the output is going towards the block with a comparator. Now place a block right there and there with some redstone dust, and you're going to place a repeater going forward on 4 ticks. And I'm going to show you why. Now you're going to place a sticky piston, not there, but right next to it, parallel to that first comparator, see? So that redstone torch can actually bud that piston. Then you're going to place, you see how it buds it? Perfect. An observer block on the side of that piston so that once it goes forward, it's going to be facing each other, creating a rapid pulse to activate this whole system. Place a block there and another observer block on the side, delete that, and that's going to reset this entire buffer and then let the system itself do its thing. Now I'm going to show you firsthand how this works. Now, you're going to see that it gets activated for a certain amount of time, and that pulse is creating a rapid pulse, activating the system. And as you can see, once it's done, it creates a quick pulse and resets the entire thing. This is a great little buffer timer for the entire system, and it works quite smoothly, especially for those potions that require 1 item only. Now right over here in this first button area, you're going to place a block on top of it with a half slab or a slab on both sides, redstone dust in the middle, and a repeater going forward right there and right there as well. Now starting here, guys, you're going to add your slab right there and one on the side. Then you're going to add a repeater going forward with some redstone dust. And in front of that repeater, you're going to add another block and another slab like so, with a redstone dust in front of it and a block in front of that, to create this format with some redstone torches on both sides of it. And that's going to create the locking system. And you're going to place a piston or a sticky piston on both sides with a block in front of those pistons. And that's going to prevent the signal from going out to activate both sides of the system. So we're going to add that as a different color. Okay. Now this side, we're going to add a straight row of blocks till you get to this little gap over here, and you can extend it forward about 3 blocks. And a block right on top, and then on that top block you're going to add a redstone torch. And that won't affect the pistons at all. So add some redstone dust here, and this kind of bypasses interfering with those pistons or butting them completely. So place 2 blocks there, and over here you're going to add a row block so you get parallel to the last piston, you see? And of course extend this once again, like so. Fantastic. And you're going to add a straight row of redstone dust, and that's going to activate that entire row of blocks. Now underneath, guys, you're going to add your sticky pistons going downwards, and you're going to pretty much set that parallel to each repeater that's right in front. I don't know if you see that, but this will be part of the selecting panel. And of course, block right underneath. Now you have to pause the video, take your time. Trust me, this does take some time. So you will be doing some pausing during the video. Now once we got that set up, let's start setting up the storage for, well, the input for the storage. So place some 2 stairs there with a redstone lamp like so in this format. Add some blocks on top and add some upside down stairs on top of it. You want to create this kind of look. Now you're going to place a block right there. And if you want to, guys, delete that block so you can just kind of have the same color. Put that back on 4 ticks. And another block right underneath. Now over here, guys, you're going to add a total of 5 droppers going upwards. For, I believe it's 5. Oh, 4 droppers going upwards and the 5th one facing the back part. Perfect. Now at this point, guys, we're going to place a hopper going towards that bottom dropper and a large chest right in the center. Now we're going to create the same exact item elevator as we did before. So we're going to place a block right there, like so. Place one more towards the back end, right over here. Delete that. Place an observer block going forward. And a block right there. Then you're going to place a block on top and one underneath, right there. With some redstone dust right there. Then you're going to place another block in front of the redstone dust with a comparator going forward on top of that observer block. They should have this kind of look. Then you're going to place 3 blocks right over here on the side. A repeater going forward with some redstone dust. And make sure that comparator is on subtract mode. With a block, well, redstone dust there, and a block on the side of it with a block on top of it, and another piece of redstone dust. Then you're going to place an observer block so it could pick up that signal. Another observer block going upwards with 1 piece of redstone dust right there. And an observer block like so going towards the first one. And there you have it, guys. Now we're gonna go right over here, guys. We're gonna place a large chest right here on the side, guys. Doesn't matter how you want to place that, just an external chest so that if you know all your unsorted items will go to, and a hopper line going towards it on top of those hoppers. And right over here, go one more towards the side, see, and extend it like so. You want to connect with that top dropper. See, you don't want it to interfere with that comparator hopper timer that we first created. Now at this point, guys, make an awesome framework and extend that to the other side and kind of decorate it at this point to your likings. Perfect. Now at this point, guys, we're going to set up the system that's going to lock the entire system the second you press the button. Place a block there underneath that red spot where the comparator's at. A block right there with a repeater going forward. And you're going to add 15 blocks right across. And a redstone dust on top of it. and pretty much right across till you get to that repeater. Then you're going to add another block there with an observer block right there and a sticky piston right there. And you're going to have 2 blocks in front of it with a redstone torch. Perfect. Now right over here, parallel to the torch, you're going to add 1 block with a regular piston going forward. And some sand right on top. Now you could use a regular piston or a sticky piston. It's pretty much your choice. 2 blocks on the side of it with redstone dust there, and you're going to add a torch, well, a lever there, and you're going to activate it with a repeater going forward. So that once that goes up, it activates that line as well. Now we're going to set up the whole sorting system, and you're going to need an anvil for this. It's the safest and best way. Now for the anvil, guys, I have 4 pieces of dirt, and you're going to rename it anything. I'm just going to call it 1, 2, 3. Just to make it simple. Doesn't matter what it is, you just have to rename it to keep this system secured for sure. Now, where the hopper is facing the comparator, the first 4 slots, you can place 1 of those dirts in each one, and 48 in the first one. Okay? Or at least 42. And you can do that to each one. Now pause the video, guys, and make sure you set up the ingredients exactly like this, okay? I'll also be putting it in the description, but now that you have a visual, this is exactly how you're going to have this set up for each slot. And if you have to pause the video and take some screenshots, please do. This is the perfect time to do so. So, trust me, once you get this all down, you'll have the perfect system. And if you want to, once the design is complete, fill in the inside with some wood. I kind of covered everything up because everything is pretty much close to ground level or a block above it. And it just looks so simple and smooth, and it really highlights everything. You get this really neat look in front of you. Now at this point, guys, the design is complete. Make sure you label everything and you're good to go. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching. Remember to please leave a comment and to click that subscribe button if you want to join. Thank you.